Good morning, this is Dwayne, and sometimes I have people come up to me and say, listen, I'd love to play the piano. Are there any songs I can play with just a couple of chords? And the answer is yes, there are. But better if you know three chords. If you know three chords, then you can play literally hundreds of songs. And I have had a list in my position in the past, I can't find it right now, but that showed several hundred songs that you could just play with three chords. So let me just illustrate, okay? Let's say I wanted to play Amazing Grace, okay? I could play that with just three chords. So I just use the C chord, the F chord, and the G chord. I could play Silent Night the same way. I could play On Top of Old Smoky. I could play When the Saints Go Marching In. And so on. I could play lots and lots of songs with just three chords. So the problem is, how do you know which chords to learn? Well, there's three chords. The answer is really quite easy. There's three chords that are called primary chords. That means main chords, homeboy chords. Like in your family, you have a core family, right? There's a mom and a dad and a child, let's say. Okay, there could be several, but there's three, a basic core, okay? And in music, it's the same way. There's three primary chords that are used way, way more than any others. And if you learn those three chords, then you can get by with zillions of songs. Happy Birthday. Now you may want to play more exciting than that, and you can certainly learn to do that, but that's a start, knowing what those chords are. So let's take a look at the easiest key to play, and that's the key of C. You see there's 12 possible keys I could play in. I could play in the key of C, I could play in the key of D flat, I could play in the key of D, I could play in the key of E flat, and so on, okay? But it's easy for a beginner to play in the key of C because all the notes are white keys, right? And so, if you learn three chords in the key of C, you can get by. The one chord is the C chord. That's the main home chord. It's called the tonic chord, the home chord, okay? And that's made up of every other note up from C. The next most important chord is the 5 chord. And this is called the 1 chord. The C chord is called the 1 chord in the key of C. And the 5 chord would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I just come up here and build a chord every other white key, that's the 5 chord. And the other chord is the 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I just learn the C chord, the F chord, and the G chord, I can play all those songs that I just played a minute ago, plus hundreds of others, okay? So I would start that way, okay? And you could start just by playing those three chords in root position, in other words, not upside down. But it's easier, once you know what they are, to play them upside down. That way you don't move your hand that much. For example, I could play the C chord like that, and I could play the F chord like that. Why do I say that? Well, that's still the F chord. You see, all I've taken is the C off the bottom and put it on the bottom. Off the top, put it on the bottom. So that way I can move easily from the C chord to the F chord, right? And then if I keep my hand frozen and just move up one whole white key on all those, I get to the G chord. So there's three chords, C, F, and G. And with those three, you can harmonize tons and tons of songs, playing the melody in your right hand and the chords in your left hand. Then you can start out like that. Then as you get better, you can start chording. Okay, and then you can start arpeggiating. And so on. You take it step by step. So you can start out like that and get to and then you can play a full style. But it all starts with learning those three basic chords. So if you are anxious to start playing the piano with chords, then learn those three chords I just identified: the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. And that's it for today. So if you enjoy these little tips, come on over to Play Piano and sign up for our whole series of tips. So I hope to see you there. Bye bye for now.